Yes, sir, Ski. You tuned into another edition of Infinite Vibes, provided by Taste and Powered by Dash Radio. I'm Moran, the man. My lovely co-host DJ B-Lex is in the building as well.
Yes, we here, baby.
We are here. My rich co-host DJ B-Lex is in the building, and we're in the presence of an up-and-coming artist who's just out here making a lot of noise, going crazy. Please introduce yourself to our listeners, my brother.
My name is Andy Mineo, and I'm glad that you had me introduced because Mineo's a tough one.
It's all good.
A tough one. People don't get it right. You saved yourself a lot of grief. Any neener niner. No.
It's
Andy
unique
Mineo.
though at the same time.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
that.
like it.
Shout out my dad.
Shout out to your pops.
Shout out all Sicilians everywhere with that name.
Sicilian. Is that
Sicilian.
Italian? Right?
Yeah. It's this. If you look at the boot, we're the little thing that the boot is kicking. The little triangle. That's Sicily, the island.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, Southern Italian.
Okay.
Don't tell us you got mob ties now.
I can't talk about that on camera.
Well, all right.
I have to kill you. I would have to kill you. No.
For sure. Well, we know that you definitely are an artist that's out here just putting in a lot of work and making a huge name for yourself. So how does it feel for you to just have all the success up until this point?
It's been great, man. Like I was saying in the interview earlier, I feel like I've experienced success in like a slow climb consistently, which has been great, man. I haven't lost my mind. I haven't lost my family, and those are like all things that people risk when they step out to be a public figure and experience success, but been able to keep an incredible circle of people and mentors around me. So it's been great. Yeah, man. It's been a great climb, a journey. Like we're still going and still dropping great music and things are still growing, which is incredible. And yeah, I'm really content with where I am, but I'm also excited for what the future has, Yeah.
It's crazy you said not losing your mind because, of course, everybody had to experience quarantine, right?
Right, for sure.
What are some things that you learned about yourself during quarantine?
Oh, man. That's good. I think some of the things that I started taking away was like, the first couple weeks of quarantine, I was like, all right, I'm just going to chill because this is all going to pass over, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks, it was like, you get the notification that school is canceled. You're like, all right, days off, we chilling. I was like, all right, school's off for 2 weeks. And those 2 weeks, I just was eating crazy, not really moving, just kind of sitting there. And I was like, maybe I should start working out. Maybe I should,
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'll get to it later. And what I realized was, if you want to get anything done, like you have to go and do it regardless of whatever excuse you have in front of you. So I had the excuse of, it's a pandemic, everyone's chilling, I'll just get on it later. And I was like, nothing's going to change if I keep on making excuses for myself. Right. And that was just for working out, but I realized that's a bigger theme in my life is whenever there's a roadblock in front of me, one of the temptations is to be like, it's a roadblock, I can't do nothing about it.
Right.
Instead of like,
easy.
I got to get creative and figure out a way to move to the next level, next space, even though it's difficult. So me and a group of friends started like a workout on a Zoom call. And for like 9 months, we just work out on the Zoom call together. We had community. And it was like a resilience, a way to figure out how to make the best out of difficult situations.
That's
and I think that was a life lesson for me in general.
Right.
Not just that thing, but like what next do we got to overcome? What next do we got to put energy behind? And not to make excuses. So
I think everybody felt like that, honestly, because you just like, we can't do nothing, so we just gonna kick it. Like,
it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Now we found a way to make it happen, and I was inspired by that.
True that. So, you use the word inspired a lot. We know that you got a project that was inspired by the movie Hook, but outside of just films, talk to us about some of your musical inspirations. Like, who are some artists that inspired you to do music?
You know what? So it was the anniversary for my first mixtape, like this month. And I posted it online. I was like, this is crazy. It's been so long since this came out. And all my fans started commenting, this song changed my life. I love this. This is when I became a fan of you. So I went back and listened to it. And I was like, as I listened to it, I really was starting to hear my early influences.
Yeah.
And one of them that I've never said this publicly, but I'm like, it's true, is Ryan Leslie.
Hey,
he's the GOAT.
Yes.
He's definitely
underrated.
For sure.
Yeah.
Ryan Leslie, when I was listening back, because I was producing a lot of the beats there, I was like, this is a straight up Ryan Leslie beat I remade. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He was taking like boom bap and hip hop and musicality at the same time. And
so I gotta ask you about Ryan Leslie. Did you watch the infamous video of him on YouTube making the beat for Cassie? The infamous video.
Of course, I watched every single Ryan Leslie video on the internet.
Ryan Leslie in the studio. So like, what did that do for you personally? Like, was it like a self-conscious thing, a subconscious thing? Like you really didn't realize he was inspiring you, or
no? I knew he was inspiring me 100%, but I forgot because it's been 10 years, you know. And I was like, oh, yo, he really he was a big source of inspiration, creatively, because he showed you the behind the scenes of how he made those things, which made you love the things he made even more. And so that also became a piece of my story and my trajectory. I did this thing called Saturday Morning Cartoons, where every Saturday morning I would show you how I created a song that came out that Saturday. And I would take you behind the scenes. And that's always been a calling card for my process, is showing people the process. But I'm like, yo, I attribute that to Ryan Leslie. So Ryan Leslie played a big part. I think... And then throughout the years, every few years, there's somebody that I get inspired from or I pull from, you know?
Is there anybody like currently that you're inspired by?
Yeah, so I did like a top 5 people, like a little YouTube video recently. And the people that I mentioned was Frank Ocean, John Bellion, Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and then obviously Kanye West, which is like
that's a golden 5 right there. It's
like a great group of people because they all make fantastic music. They all have different approaches.
Right.
The one common thread is they all access vulnerability in their music and in their art. And that's something that I'm always drawn to as a listener, is like how much you connect to the heart. And they all find a way to do that really well. And I try to do that in my music.
Like, forget about the money, the cars.
For sure. If I can connect with you as a human first, like, then there's, we can talk about all that other stuff too. That's fun, right? But the connecting to the heart is like one of the main things that really draws me into an artist.
That part. So another artist that I feel is definitely dope at doing that is an artist that you have a track with right now, Lecrae, who we actually had on our show not too long ago.
Oh, dope. Yeah.
So I actually have a song together. How did this whole collaboration come about?
Actually, so Lecrae and I did the Coming in Hot record. When it was getting ready to go gold, we were like, yo, we should run it back, right? Like, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So we got with the same producer, Sak Passe, who made the Coming in Hot record, and was like, yo, send us another pack. We want to run this back and do it right, like not switch up the players. So he sent us a pack, and Lecrae and I decided for 3 weeks, we were like, yo, every Tuesday morning, like 11 a.m., let's lock in for like 2 hours and just see what happens. So we locked in, we made 3 songs, and this was the one that ended up, everyone liked it. We were like, yo, let's run this play. So we finished that record, and we were like, yo, we should make a mixtape. Right? So we were like, we should make a mixtape because it's so easy to work together. And I was like, yo, I got to put my album out first. I'm tripping. I'm like starting a new project before my album's done. So I said, listen, let me just take this one, and we'll come back to this conversation. So I took it. It's called Been About It. It has been a nightmare clearing that song because we had so many samples and things in there that's why the album got pushed back twice, was trying to get clearance for that record.
Oh, wow.
We finally got it cleared yesterday.
Congratulations.
Like,
after
everything's done.
Times.
Yeah, so everything's clear, so we're good to go.
Shout out to the lawyer that worked that out.
All the lawyers.
All the lawyers.
Yeah. And
who did y'all sample in that?
Oh, man, it was so many people. It was KRS-One.
Jeez.
It was the Beastie Boys and Rick Rubin. There's so many layers. I probably can't even say all of them, but there's so many layers. We had to go back and re-record things and change lines and pull things out just so we could please all parties. And we did. So we finally got cleared. Last night I got the call.
Congratulations.
So thank you. I appreciate it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the album?
Yeah. Album is out now. Been About It, featuring Lecrae's on there. Neverland 2, Andy Mineo. Studio album is out right now.
Absolutely dope.
Yes.
So one thing about us in closing, we always like to end our interviews with just positive words of affirmation. So what are some advice that you could provide to anybody on their way up, big dog?
You loyal. You beautiful.
All right.
Affirmations.
Yeah, affirmations, right? Anybody up and coming, I would say 3 things. I would say work really hard at your craft. I think there's no amount of shortcuts that can be made in like having a skill, right? So like if you have an incredible skill and ability that you've spent the time and energy and effort in honing in, that's going to serve you for a long period of time, and don't quit sharpening that craft. 2 is find your unique voice, like look at the landscape of what's happening and say like, what's the direction I could go that not a lot of people are there, and I could occupy that space, and it's true to me.
Right.
That way you could cut through the noise. And then 3 would be to find your audience. Try to identify what space you could live in, and try to put yourself in those positions. And that way you can connect with real people, real fans that will support you through the journey. So that's what I tell up-and-coming artists. It sounds easier than it is, but it's like, I'm into horror movies and rap. It's like there's a whole subgroup of people who love horror and rap.
Right.
Just find those people, or whatever the thing is that's uniquely you. Find out and identify what that is. That's because important. When you say my music's for everybody, it's for nobody.
Right.
That's a bar.
Find your audience. Find out who it is.
Find your audience, dope, man. Well, you definitely have our support 100%.
Appreciate it.
Please give our listeners your social media. Let them know how they can get in contact with you and introduce this record that you want us to play, big dog.
Yeah. At Andy Mineo. I'm on all socials. Neverland 2 is out right now. And let's get into Ben About It featuring Lecrae.
Yes, sir. Ski.